All right, and we are live. So welcome back to Dapp University. So today we have a lot to talk about. The first major thing that I want to talk about today is the big upgrade that's happening on the Ethereum network this week. All right, and what you need to understand about this, whether you're a blockchain developer or whether you are, just into Ethereum, you hold coins, hold NFTs on the network in some way. This is what you need to understand, okay, what this means for the future of Ethereum 2.0, okay? So we're about that. We're going to look at a lot of the news updates that have happened in this space since our live stream yesterday. Again, we do these live streams Monday through Friday on this channel. Just subscribe, turn on notifications. You'll find out about those whenever we go live. We're going to look at the crypto markets, answer some of your questions, and a lot more. So if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to master blockchain step-by-step, start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. Last but not least, like nothing I'm saying in this video is designed to be financial advice. There's lots of scammers down in the comment section below. Just ignore them. There's nothing we can really do about it. Every time we try to filter them out, they keep coming back with a vengeance, finding a way to get around filters. So, I'm never going to give you my phone number on YouTube, ask you to invest with me. I'm never going to DM you, try to get you to join a secret chat room or anything like that. This is not going to happen. So we got people jumping in the chat here. We got Automatic Beats, David Stone, Made You Look, Lee, Devin Shu, hope I'm saying that right, Rodrigo, Technically, Cryptechnology. Awesome. Welcome. So let's go ahead and jump into this. Let's talk about a big upgrade that's happened on the Ethereum network this past week, or the week that we're in right now, and what you need to understand about this. So I actually meant to cover this earlier this week, but we kind of had some other topics come up in the live streams. Well, let's go ahead and talk about it now because the upgrade is now live and it was successful. So what does this mean? All right. So basically, this is the Ethereum Arrow Glacier upgrade. This was the countdown website for this. And now you can see the upgrade is now live on the Ethereum mainnet. So what does this upgrade do? Because you think about it this way, we are on this big migration towards Ethereum 2.0, which is the grand vision for Ethereum really from day one. The whole idea was to get Ethereum out there in an imperfect state so they could get users and, get applications and actually some network effects. And it's done that pretty well. But then, sort of fix the airplane while it's flying to become Ethereum 2.0 down the road. So along the way, of course, there's all this E2.0 roadmap that is being implemented. We're in phase 0 of that right now. But there's all these smaller upgrades that happen along the way where basically the community says we want to change something about Ethereum, and it goes through this process of being a proposal in a very decentralized way, and then the community actually creates the software for this upgrade, and then it gets voted upon. And sort of the final source of truth is that the token holders or the cryptocurrency holders, who run nodes, actual clients, say approve or disapprove the changes by just upgrading the software. And so you can see that right here, the software has been upgraded. 77.7% of the nodes indexed here have actually already upgraded to this new client. So what does it do? We'll talk about the Ethereum roadmap, Ethereum 2.0 roadmap. One of the biggest things this upgrade does is actually delay what's called the difficulty bomb. So what is that? Why is it important? Well, here's what it is. So basically, whenever we move to Ethereum 2.0, we're going to move from proof of work, which has miners, all right, to proof of stake, which has validators, where you can stake your cryptocurrency to run the network. Now, whenever we move to proof of stake, we really don't want people mining the old Ethereum chain, or we don't want people mining anymore. And so part of this difficulty bomb is it basically makes it a lot harder to mine on the Ethereum network, okay? And that difficulty bomb is programmed at a certain time. So when we get to that point, that sort of bomb goes off. And I don't remember the date of the difficulty bomb before this upgrade, but basically what that does is it delays this bomb until I believe it's June of 2022. So many more months. So what can you derive from that if you're trying to think about what's going to happen for the future of Ethereum? Well, it does mean that we're not going to get, an Ethereum 2.0 merge, which is the next phase in Ethereum's roadmap. We'll talk about that more in a minute, in 2021, which I've been saying for months. I didn't think that was going to happen. But it does give you a hint at when they think that it might happen, which would be before June of 2022, and probably significantly before June of 2022. Probably not like May 31st or something like that, right? So What does that mean? So basically, right now, like I said, we're on the ETH 2.0 roadmap, and the next major milestone for that is the merge, which is basically taking Ethereum's proof of stake blockchain, which is already being created on the side, and merging that back into the blockchain that you use today. Because if you're using Ethereum today, that's Ethereum 1.0. Ethereum 2.0 is being created over here. The merge brings 2.0 into 1.0, or at least this next iteration of 2.0, and then that happens, right? Now, then staking is live on the main chain, and that's when ETH also becomes deflationary permanently, basically, assuming that the demand for the network continues at least as it is and increases over time, which I think it will. So that's the gist of what you need to know from this upgrade. We're probably going to see the merge happen. Pretty early next year on the grand scheme of things. I don't think it's going to be January, probably not February, but somewhere probably between March and May will be my guess. That's just a guess, but that's an educated guess based upon, breadcrumbs that I see out there online, and also stuff like this where we have the difficulty bomb as a pretty hard deadline. And, that could always get moved back again. You know what I mean? Like if there's some massive delay in the merge, then we could see that move back. So I'll talk about some more implications in a minute, but I want to switch gears and actually look at a couple other things that came out yesterday that are pretty big for the crypto space. We'll look at the crypto markets. We're going to answer some questions, but I'll circle back to this point. I'm actually making myself a note to do it. Okay, so something I saw come out yesterday was pretty cool. It's a big milestone for crypto because it actually validates a prediction that I actually had on this channel before about where the future of blockchain is headed. Okay, so this is pretty cool because if you all have watched those videos in the past, you kind of see me outline where I think certain technologies, what they're going to do in the future, and now we're seeing evidence of that. Okay, so I'm going to show you the news story in a second, but let me just kind of set it up. So I've always talked about how I think one of the major use cases for blockchain technology that can really scale to mass adoption is high interest savings accounts. Okay, where basically you can just park cash into an account and get a higher return than you could in traditional finance. All right, and how just the existence of that benefit in DeFi is either going to take all the users, or it's going to put pressure on traditional finance to offer something similar. Okay, and so how I would see like blockchain, but not everybody's just going to download. Everybody's going to get on Coinbase or Binance and buy, crypto, and then go use MetaMask into a smart contract on some kind of sketchy looking website and earn, high yield on the stable coin. It's probably just not going to happen, right? So there's lots of paths forward to this, okay? So I've always said that basically we could onboard a lot more people with user experience that they're already familiar with, where they don't even have to know that they're using DeFi behind the scenes, but they can just be using a website that kind of looks like something they already do, or maybe a mobile app that they already do. I've talked about the use case of, basically downloading a mobile app and clicking a few buttons on your phone, like if you have Apple Pay or Android Pay, installed, and there's no friction to doing this, and then you can just convert, dollars from a debit card into, crypto and start earning yield. But another use case that I've always talked about is sort of the thesis that the cryptocurrency exchanges that we have now, like the major ones like Binance, Coinbase, all that type of stuff, that these essentially going to become online crypto banks. Okay, they're centralized, but they can actually incorporate decentralized technology in the background. I mean, they already are. Like if you just buy, Bitcoin on an exchange like Binance, for example, you just hold it in your wallet, you're kind of doing DeFi. I mean, like just owning a cryptocurrency is sort of like the level 1 participation in DeFi, and you're doing it through a centralized service, right? Of course, a lot of people would say, not your keys, not your crypto. I get all that, but sort of the next wave of it. But it brings a user experience that a lot of people are familiar with. At the end of the day, they get to choose how they participate. If they want to withdraw it to a wallet and self-custody, they could do that, right? But same thing for banking. So when you're talking about, taking dollars and earning yield being a pretty big use case. I talk about these, centralized exchanges becoming like crypto banks of the future, where people are already used to online banking. So why can't you just have, some cryptocurrency exchange now be your online bank that you use? I mean, many people don't even go to a physical bank branch for many things anyway. So what if you receive your paycheck into your Coinbase account or Binance account, whatever it is, right? You can automatically have it roll over into an interest-bearing, stable coin or something like that. So anyways, we're getting there, okay? And today we saw this news story come out, or yesterday. So starting today, Coinbase is allowing customers to earn interest on DAI powered by the Compound protocol. This is an important milestone for the industry, demonstrating what major on-ramps of DeFi will look like. So what's the major point here? Well, it's exactly what I was talking about, which is basically a crypto bank, a very user-friendly interface in the front end, a cryptocurrency exchange. And like I said, you get to kind of change your category about how you think about these cryptocurrency exchanges. They're not just a place to go buy and sell Bitcoin anymore. They're a lot more NFTs, right? Crypto banks where people might be receiving their paychecks and actually one-click converting or automatically converting their paychecks into stable coins to earn yield, all that type of stuff. You might be paying your bills from your Binance account. We'll see. But an important component of this is this DeFi component that gives you this high yield, because that's what Compound is. It's a smart contract-based decentralized finance application that lives on the blockchain. One of the reasons it can generate high yield is because people in a decentralized way can take out loans on the other side, and Compound's earning a small profit on the spread automatically, and then Coinbase could have an additional profit from plugging into the Compound protocol and then giving the end user the benefit here. And so this is a way that people can do DeFi in a somewhat centralized way and get that benefit. And I made this prediction probably last year on the channel that this was going to happen, that I thought high yield savings was going to be a massive use case, and that what most people are going to do is basically just do it on an exchange, and exchange are going to support it. And we're finally seeing that come out in a real meaningful way. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. So somebody's talking about other people doing this, but it's not in the same way. So we've had lending programs on crypto in the past, like with other apps where say, hey, we'll give you % interest on your Bitcoin. We'll let you take out loans against it. But almost all these services are just done through traditional means, right? They're just saying like, hey, we're actually just going to behind the scenes, orchestrate these loans. This is actually plugging into DeFi instruments to get the benefit. That's why it's such a big deal. It's different. It's mostly decentralized with this like sort of centralized interface on top of it. Okay. The other thing is you literally have a centralized custodian who's orchestrating the loans. All right. And why does that matter? Why does it matter? Why would you just? What's the benefit? Well, the benefit is that if there's a more tangible benefit for the end user to use the DeFi thing, that generates more demand for the decentralized finance technology in and of itself, even though they're interacting with it in a somewhat centralized way. Okay, so we'll circle back some points on that here in a minute, but let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on with the crypto markets here. So we're in the middle of another correction. So let's look at the Ether chart here. So, of course, as always, not financial advice. Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen in the short to midterm. My long-term thesis is always intact. My view is generally trend higher over the next several months, but in the short term, of course, there could always be turbulence. So what I would say about this, like I said, I'm not taking a technical analysis. The real important numbers here to me are this resistance level. Okay, so I've been saying on the channel about this kind of making higher lows and then higher highs, right? So we failed to really hold this in a tangible way. But still, the bigger picture is there's meaningful resistance here around $4,000 over, the month time frame, okay? Maybe not so much across full 90 days, but basically pretty important resistance, or support, I should say. I keep saying resistance. It's support. When holding the price up, it's support. If it's keeping the price down, it's resistance. About $4,000. So let's just wait and see if that holds. Same is true for Bitcoin. We might see a little bit of a downtrend, but let's just wait and see if the support holds to understand what's going to happen with the short-term price. Yeah, same sort of deal here. About $47,000, $46,000. So why would I think it's still higher over the next several months? Simple answer is adoption. Nothing about that has changed. We might see some booms and busts along the way. What my personal actions are, I bought more Ether last week when the price went down below $4,000. So if we saw another significant correction from here, I might even buy some more. So that just tells you what my personal outlook is. Of course, not financial advice for you. You may not want to do that depending on your situation, but that's what I did. Okay, we can actually check on what's going on with the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. So right now, we are firmly in the extreme fear category. So as always, not financial advice, but this has typically been when the best returns are made, is buying these levels. It's crazy how much social sentiment has tracked almost perfectly with the buying and selling opportunities over the past several months. So we'll wait and see. You can't systematically be greedy when others are fearful and fearful when others are greedy, because you would buy every crypto, every stock, everything that went to zero. There's tons of cryptos out there that have just downtrend, have been on a crazy downtrend and have never recovered. And if you were trying to be a hero and, greedy when others are fearful, you would have bought that thing straight into the ground and bag held into oblivion. But, on major stuff, it's a different story, not in my opinion. But we don't know. There could always be something that you don't know what you don't know. There's always possibilities. Crypto could have black swan event of some kind that sends everything to zero. I think it's highly unlikely. You always have to think about this stuff in terms of likelihood. Okay, so we can also see what's going on with the what has happened to the ETH to BTC ratio ever since this dump happened. So basically, it's going down. So this is measuring the Ethereum price to Bitcoin price, and looks like we had kind of a temporary, all-time high over the past year or so. So we'll see if this trend recovers and see if Ethereum continues to outperform. I'm going to keep an eye on this. And now one thing I mentioned on my Twitter yesterday that I think would be really good. Honestly, I don't know why we don't have this metric anyway. We might, maybe I just don't know a website that tracks it. But in terms of the ETH to BTC ratio, comparing the Ethereum price to the Bitcoin price, I think it'd be way more meaningful to compare the market caps of the two cryptocurrencies and divide that as a ratio. Because that basically makes the progress of Ethereum flipping Bitcoin, it just illustrates it way more clearly. And it's also a static number. So if the prices are changing, you don't have this moving ratio number to always understand when the flipping is going to happen. Because if you look at the ratios, you know what I mean? Here's the prices, and you also have to recalculate this to determine when the flipping is going to happen. But if you just divide the market caps, like that would always give you a ratio that made sense and never had to change. So maybe we should create that and use it on this channel, and we can widely distribute it. We'll make that number famous. Somebody saying they can't hear me. Well, I think everybody else can hear me. Okay, so I want to look a little bit more at what happened yesterday from the Congressional hearing. Okay, so we talked about this some yesterday, but I want to reiterate it because I saw a pretty good tweet thread that summarized stuff better than what I did yesterday. So just to recap, a couple days ago, I think it was a couple days ago, I kind of started to lose track of time. Within this past week, we had a congressional hearing that was really focused on crypto and potential regulations for it in the future. Now, I've reiterated my philosophy on this. I think crypto can exist just fine without regulations. That being said, I'm a realist about regulations coming for the crypto industry on the whole in the future. And the best trade-off, practical trade-off, is just getting the most favorable regulations possible. So part of that is actually, speaking with regulators and, trying to talk about this stuff, right? Out in the open. Okay. And so we've seen this. So that's what happened this past week during the congressional hearing. In my opinion, it was a really good step forward for crypto. And we talked about some of those things and why, but I want to pull up this tweet thread that I think summarized a lot of those points more concisely and more to the point. So the recent congressional hearing was one of the most bullish events for crypto in all of 2021. It represented a clear change in momentum as legislators begin to understand the true magic of blockchain. So we did see this. This was kind of funny. I don't know if did y'all see this? Let me see if I can get it to play. Let me pull up my sound and make sure it's working properly. Let's see here.
Now, the number one threat to cryptocurrency is crypto. Bitcoin could be displaced by Ether, which could be displaced by Dodge, which could be displaced by Hamster Coin. And then there's Cobra Coin. And what could Mongoose Coin do to crypto coin?
So I have a feeling that Mongoose Coin and Cobra Coin are being created as we speak and are probably going to pull some fast moves on the charts. If they don't exist already, I don't watch. Hey, maybe there is a Hamster Coin, a Mongoose Coin, a Cobra Coin already. But this has quickly turned into a meme that's floated around the internet. So anyways, so I'm not going to play every single clip, but anyways, we have basically people agreeing with Coinbase CFO about regulatory clarity on digital assets, about the need for this, firing some shots at Gary Gensler. This is one that I brought up that I thought was really good, which is basically, this was the comment from former United States acting comptroller Brian Brooks. I talked about Brian yesterday in the stream. He grills legislators for their hypocrisy shown for digital assets. I'm not going to add as much editorial as is here, but the whole point was basically, he said that the U.S. is basically just behind in many ways on clarification for crypto ETFs, or Bitcoin in particular. Okay, and I've talked a lot about Bitcoin ETFs on this channel and why they would be important. Basically, this ability to buy and sell Bitcoin inside of an ETF, an exchange traded fund, in a product in traditional finance. Okay, and we have these all over the world. We just don't have them in the United States, not a spot one yet. We have a futures ETF, which is progress. But he's saying, look, we're behind in this stuff. And one of the biggest problems with this, which they iterated pretty well, is hey, if we just make everything so slow in the United States, or basically I realize not everybody from this who's watched this live stream is from the United States or really cares about every single policy from the U.S. I get that about half the people watching the stream are from the U.S. I am from the U.S. I'm just going to talk about it from this, and this is a relevant story. So, the whole point I'm trying to make is basically if you stifle innovation inside the United States or you regulate things that can't exist in the United States, is basically you're taking everything, like any ETF-based product or any crypto-based product where you have industry around that, right? Like be a massive industry that would generate a ton of revenue, okay? You're taking all that tax revenue, you're taking all that GDP, right? All that economic activity and stimulus from real producers inside the United States, and you're just sending it somewhere else. Like you're just saying, if you can't do it in the U.S., we're just going to go somewhere else. Which, in my opinion, is killing the golden goose. So, anyways, he talks more about this. Another comment that came up was from Patrick McHenry. Okay. This is actually a pretty good one, so I'm going to play it.
Right. So describe to us how those digital assets fit into this internet revolution, Web3.
So the concept is that you have sort of application layer tokens and you have protocol layer tokens. So if I'm an owner of Bitcoin, let's say that I'm a miner of Bitcoin, somebody who actually creates Bitcoin. The Bitcoin is the reward I receive for doing the work to keep the network operational. And that allows me to own a piece of the Bitcoin blockchain. Or take Ethereum, which is easier to understand. The Ether token represents an ownership stake in the network, but on top of that network are all kinds of apps that get built on the network, much like the apps on your phone depend on the underlying network existing that lets the phone operate. And so people will make judgments about which network is likely to win, and they will invest in the tokens in that network much the same way you might invest in Google stock because you think Google is going to scale access to the original internet. The difference being here, you can vote on what happens in the future of a proof of stake network, for example. You can get rewarded through a proof of work token for maintaining a ledger on something like Bitcoin. But the real message here is that what happens on the decentralized internet is decided by the investors versus what happens on the main internet is decided by Twitter, Facebook, Google, and a small number.
Yeah, I thought that was really, really good because he understands basically what's happening. And I saw a pretty funny comment. In the chat saying like yarn at Educate Congress. But he's doing a really good job of explaining like, hey, not all cryptos and currencies are created equally, basically talking about how, like, what utility tokens are, how native L1 tokens like Ethereum work, why they're beneficial, and also lays out like why Web3 and crypto is so important, where basically the users have governance over the thing, ownership over the thing, and get to profit off of all that. Rather than, like the stock market where you got your users and then you got the shareholders, which many times aren't even the same people. Okay. So I thought that was really, really, really good that we have that kind of knowledge and representation inside the United States, especially testifying before Congress. So I'm going to post a link to this tweet thread in the live chat replay. I'm not going to go through everything, but if you want to see a more comprehensive summary on everything, there's a lot more video clips in that thread. Definitely check it out. All right, everybody. That's all I got for today. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That really helps these videos out so the more people can learn about blockchain. And if you're as fascinated with this technology as I am, you want to get your hands dirty, how can you get started today? Well, you can go to my YouTube homepage. You can find my free courses there. They're like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. And if you like those and you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you want to take a master shortcut entirely, I can show you how to become a blockchain master step-by-step start to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You don't have to be an expert to get started today. I've helped people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. Until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.